Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler review series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie, I sure could use this after a long night at work. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. That is definitely the case today. Like I said, I just got off work about 45 minutes ago or so. And, yeah, not a bad night at work. Not a bad night at work at all. Pretty chill overall. But definitely just one of those things, man, where it's like, I just wanted to be done so bad. It wasn't a bad night, but I was just tired and I was just sore and I wanted to be done. So when I got out of work, I went over there, spent a little time just kind of resting up in my car. And after that, I was like, well, I'm going to go home, and I just going to go straight home. But I was like, man, I'm fading out. I'm real tired. So I went over there and I was going to get some Dunkin' Donuts. But I was like, nah, man, I just had Dunkin' a few days ago. And then clicked in my head, hey, wait a second. There's a place that I really like that I haven't been to in a little bit. So, where did I go? What did I get? What are we doing here, folks? Well, it happens to be, boom, Brewpoint Coffee in Elmhurst, Illinois, which I have reviewed a number of their beverages in the past. Those reviews, by the way, are all on a single playlist called Eating Out Illinois. Because Brewpoint Cafe, it is an Illinois institution. They have a number of locations. And anytime I go over there and I review like an Illinois kind of centered spot, it ends up on the Eating Out Illinois playlist. So if you just want to see kind of my local scene, go to that playlist. Whole bunch of reviews there. That's got a whole thing. This is more than a cup of coffee. Our mission is to build an equitable and inclusive world through our business ecosystem. Learn more about our products, all that good stuff. But what is it? Well, it's off their brand new spring menu, because we finally hit into spring. This is their Cinnaberry Latte. And no, I didn't pronounce that wrong. It consists of blueberry plus vanilla syrups, cinnamon, espresso, and oat milk. This is a large. It cost me $7. Not too bad for, you think what you'd probably be paying for some Starbucks shit, probably be over there fucking refinancing your house. But yeah, man, so it's been a little bit since I've had some Brewpoint, and I figured, yeah, man, I could use a little pick-me-up. So let's give it a go. It smells really good, like you can smell the blueberry. Ooh. Yeah, I got kind of a blueberries and cream thing going. I'm down with that. I like that a lot. And it's like, one of the things I've always really liked about Brewpoint is that, unlike, Starbucks, where Starbucks, I mean, at this point, I don't know exactly, like, what their popular reputation is. But, like, at one point, they were, like, their whole thing was, quality coffees and this, that. I don't think it's that anymore. Whereas with Brewpoint, obviously it's a smaller establishment. One of the things I've always really liked is that they let their coffee really speak for itself. I don't know why I was struggling to say that. Yes, I do. I'm really tired. It's almost a little bit lost on me because I'm not a huge coffee person. Like, I like coffee adjacent things. I like coffee with a bunch of stuff in it. But it is one of those things where you can tell it's good coffee. Like, even I can tell that. I'm a fucking plebeian. But yeah, it's definitely lost on me to a certain extent. But I do appreciate that it's there because it makes for an overall nicer experience. And to kind of complement that, their flavors are really nice, but they tend to be a little bit more subtle than, again, something like Starbucks, where, they tend to be very heavy with the flavors, very sweet, a lot of their stuff is basically just candy. With Brewpoint, even the stuff where, it's called Cinnaberry Latte, even with that, it's still coffee forward. And I appreciate that. Even though, again, I'm not the biggest coffee guy in the world. because they're using good coffee, I can get behind it. But it's nice. And again, it doesn't taste like I'm drinking candy. As much as I enjoy a nice dessert drink every now and again, I'm not entirely shitting on the whole thing, but I like that, you get that nice coffee flavor. But yeah, the blueberry is nice. It's very forward. Like I said, you do get that kind of little bit of a blueberries and cream hit at the very beginning. Then it kind of, sort of subsides. You start getting sort of the espresso flavor, start getting a little bit of that cinnamon. I also like typically they'll go over there and they'll ask you what kind of milk you want. I just go with whatever the recipe calls for. It's typically oat milk they prefer. And I will say I actually do really like oat milk in coffee. It just adds like a really nice creaminess to it. And that's definitely present here. I really like that. And like I said, I like it on basically every level. I think that I like the flavors that are at play. I like that they're not heavy-handed with it. I like that you can still taste, the quality of the coffee. Everything that's supposed to be there is there. It's just good. It's just a really good, tasty drink. I don't hit up Brewpoint all that often because I don't do coffee all that often, And usually if I do, it's because I'm doing a review for something, like Starbucks or whatever. But it is something to be said that, like, when I want a quality coffee, I will go to Brewpoint. If I want something that I, know is going to be good coffee, I'm not going to go to Starbucks. I'm not going to go to Dunkin'. They have their place, but I'm going to go to Brewpoint. I think they're really good. If I have any critique of it, and it's minor, I personally would have liked a little bit more cinnamon. Especially considering the namesake, I would have liked more cinnamon in it. And again, they tend to use more subtle flavors, and the cinnamon is there. But I think a little bit more just would have gone over there, and not only would have just livened it up just a little bit more, but it would have gone over there and kind of given that sort of those contrasting flavors that I often talk about, with the blueberries and the cream, and then, maybe that hit of the spiciness from the cinnamon. But it's a very good drink. I like that very much. But 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Pretty obvious. Yes and yes. I think for me, out of the ones that I've had from Brewpoint, and it hasn't been a lot, but, I've done a number of them now. This, for me, is definitely up there in terms of their flavors that I've had. I really like this one. I love the kind of fruitiness. I love the creaminess. And, it's just a really good drink. And for me, like I said, I like a coffee drink that doesn't taste too much like coffee, which this succeeds in, but I appreciate the fact that it has like a nice coffee flavor to it still. So, for me, I would definitely get this again. I probably, it'll end up being one of those things, maybe I'll get back to it. Since they do have the new spring menu items, probably the next time I'm here, I'll go through one of those. But if I would recommend it, though, I would 100% recommend this. I think this is one of those things where, first and foremost, I think that if you live anywhere near a Brewpoint coffee and you fancy yourself as somebody who enjoys coffee, and I'm not talking like, I need coffee for Monday. Sorry, that's the most basic bitch attitude in the entire world. Like, and it's fine if that's the case. Okay? I mean, you don't, by the way. Let me just toss that out there for you. As somebody who's, worked overnights for years and years and years, you don't need coffee nearly as much as you think you do. You just get into a routine of it, and then that's what ends up happening. And I'm not trying to ruin the coffee industry. Enjoy it if you want, but just believe in yourself. But no, I think if you're somebody who you really do appreciate like a nice cup of coffee, I think Brewpoint is definitely a place that you should go to, whether it's the Elmhurst location or one of their others. Although, to be fair, I haven't been to their others, but at least the Elmhurst one I know for sure is really good. And I think this drink, like I said, it's one of my favorites that I've had from them. I think it's really good. I think it's evocative of springtime. Even though at the time I'm doing this, I think it's about 40 degrees out. But yeah, anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly Spring has sprung-tastic rest of your life. A lot of people like spring. I kind of like spring. I'm okay with spring, but I'm a fall person. That's just me. I'm a gloomy kind of guy, and I don't like the heat and rain and shit. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're gonna do, folks. You're gonna try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I want you to go out and do. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. And again, I'm not trying to squash the coffee industry or anything like that. Challenge yourself when it comes to your caffeine intake. I think you would be genuinely surprised that once you kind of get off that train, how little you actually need it. Because it really is more routine. And, I could be wrong. But I don't think I am. And I speak from personal experience. Because, again, I have worked overnights for a lot of years. And when you work that type of job, trust me, caffeine is going to come into play. And especially when I was doing my gas station job for 7 years, you better believe I was hitting those energy drinks on the regular. Until I finally got into a position where I had to stop because I just had a bunch of dental work I needed done and I couldn't afford it, so I just cut out sugary stuff. But it was amazing how after maybe a week or so being a little shaky, it was just like, oh, I don't think I actually needed that. But, and again, I'm not saying you have to cut it out of your life or anything. I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm just saying challenge yourself, Because again, hey, you can go over there, save yourself a few bucks here or there, and just get off that brown pony, as it were. Anyway, bye.